His Divine Grace, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki, Prem Se Golo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath, Sham Kund, Radha Kund, Giri Govardhan ki, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki, Navadvip Dham ki, Yamuna Maya ki, Ganga Maya ki, Tulsi Devi ki, Bhakti Devi ki, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki, Nitai Gauda Premanande Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Hare Krishna. Today we're reading from the third canto, entitled The Status Quo, chapter 26, which is entitled The Fundamental Principles of Material Nature, text 22. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nasta Prayeshva Badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Shinvata Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridantasto Hyabadrani Virunoti Suhitsatam. Svachatam avikaritvam Shantatvam iti chetasah Vrittibhir lakshanam proktam Yathapam prakriti para Svachatam avikaritvam Shantatvam iti chetasah Lakshanam proktam Yathapam prakriti para Swachatvam avikaritvam Shantatvam iti chetasah Vrittibhir lakshanam proktam Yathapam prakritim para. Devotees. Svachatam avikaritvam Shantatvam nichichetasa Swachatvam avikaritvam Shantatvam iti chetasah Vrittibhir lakshanam proktam Yathapam prakritim para Swachatvam avikaritvam Shantatvam iti chetasah Vrittibhir lakshanam proktam Yathapam prakriti para. Vaishnavis. Vachatam avikaritvam Shantatvam iti chetasa Swachatvam avikaritvam Shantatvam iti chetasa Vrittibhir lakshanam proktam Yathapam prakriti para. Swachatvam, clarity. Avikaritvam, from all distraction. Shantatyam, serenity. Iti, thus. Of consciousness. Vritibhi, by characteristics. Lakshanam, traits. Proktam, called. Yatha, as. Apam, of water. Prakriti, natural state. Pada, pure. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. After the manifestation of the Mahat Tattva, these features appear simultaneously. Its natural state, before coming in contact with earth, is clear, sweet, and unruffled. So the characteristic traits of pure consciousness are complete serenity, clarity, and freedom from distraction. Purport. The pure status of consciousness, or Krishna consciousness, exists in the beginning. Just after creation, consciousness is not polluted. The more one becomes materially contaminated, however, the more consciousness becomes obscured. In pure consciousness, one can perceive a slight reflection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As in clear, unagitated water, free from impurities, one can see everything clearly. So in pure consciousness, or Krishna consciousness, one can see things as they are. One can see the reflection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and one can see his own existence as well. This state of consciousness is very pleasing, transparent, and sober. In the beginning, consciousness is pure. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manopishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swaparantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamshta Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. We're in quite an interesting point of the Bhāgavatam. Lord Kapila Deva is describing different aspects of material nature and how they come about, how actually things are kind of morphed in this material universe that the Kali Yuga creatures we are existing in. I'd first like to seek the blessings before I start speaking further of all the devotees present, especially His Grace Rama Roy Prabhu, so that I can say something of benefit for the audience, so that we can be more enthused, motivated to chant the holy names and practice Krishna consciousness. So yeah, this verse in specific, Lord Kapila Deva was discussing about how different aspects are coming in and manifesting more from subtle things, and then eventually we're getting to the Mahat Tattva. So consciousness is actually then being put into the Mahat Tattva through what's called the Vasudeva incarnation, or consciousness. It's also known as Sattva. And so actually, it's said that in this verse, it's also a representation of the consciousness in the jiva. That consciousness is actually naturally pure, but the more materially covered it becomes, then the more contaminated or polluted it is. We see this example given by Srila Prabhupada quite often, actually, using from this verse, as water in its natural state, before coming in contact with earth, is clear, sweet, and unruffled. So, talking about how the jiva is naturally pure, but when we're covered by material elements, then there's things that are diluting that water. So there's a process that we have to actually filter out the dirt. And I like this verse a lot because at first it kind of seems confusing, but it's actually pointing a lot to the purport of the entirety of the Vedas in general. And it's not directly doing so, but it's kind of prying us to ask a little deeper as to, okay, well, how can I actually become purified? So, does anyone know how we become purified in this age of Kali Yuga? Chanting, Haribol. Right, Krishna Consciousness 101. So chanting the holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So through this process of chanting in Kali Yuga, there's a beautiful verse I was just discussing with Pavani Thai Prabhu, and it's a verse conversation between Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma is saying, Idishodakshakam nam nam Kali Kama Sanashanam Nata Para Taropaya Sarva Vedi Shudrishyate. So this is saying, and before that the Maha Mantra is being stated, and he's saying these 16 names can destroy all the degrading, illusory effects of Kali. In all the Vedas there is no higher or more sublime way. So Cheto Darpana Marjanam, the process of cleaning the heart. Lord Chaitanya came here 537 years ago to not only teach us the principles of devotional service externally, but of course internally to experience the ecstatic symptoms of Srimati Radharani. I always just find it so amazing that God isn't fully capable of experiencing the love of his own devotees, what to speak of his own internal potency, Srimati Radharani. And the fact that he came down only 500 years ago, it's quite amazing. And we can see that magic every day when we're going on in Sankirtan happening still after Lord Chaitanya's presence here. So we also see that Lord Chaitanya had very exalted disciples. Of course, we have the 6 Goswamis. A lot of these disciples that Lord Chaitanya had were very well versed in scriptures, in the Bhāgavatam and the Vedas and the Puranas. And so we can kind of see there's 2 different ways that Lord Chaitanya was instructing. So the first way is that Lord Chaitanya was instructing to the public, instructing through the process of Harinam Sankirtan. So Lord Chaitanya and his associates would go out and perform Harinam Sankirtan on hours on end, days on end, to encourage everyone to perform the Yuga Dharma. And then on the other side, there's also instructions that Lord Chaitanya specifically gave to his intimate associates. So, take for example the 6 Goswamis who were instructed to excavate holy places in Vrindavan. They've given us so much, and of course Srila Prabhupada has expanded on these things and has given us these things in a much easier way for us to comprehend, but everything is still there. You see, Prabhupada's actually citing so many literatures by the 6 Goswamis in the Bhāgavatam and the Bhagavad Gita, and all these literatures that Prabhupada's giving us. So it's quite clear that he's encouraging us to also take shelter of the instructions of the 6 Goswamis and thus Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And further than that, there's also interactions that Lord Chaitanya had with even more intimate associates, like Swarup Damodar Goswami or Ramananda Roy. And so, you take for example with Ramananda Roy, Lord Chaitanya is actually asking him questions. And of course, the famous conversation in the 8th chapter of Madhya Lila, where Lord Chaitanya is inquiring about what is the topmost understanding, what is the topmost realization of God. And so it's a continuous back and forth, and Ramananda Roy starts off with talking about aspects of Varnashram Dharma, talking about devotional service, and then deeper aspects of devotional service. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is pressing him, give me more, keep going deeper, you can go further than this. And so of course Ramananda Roy is sitting there saying, well, I'm not doing anything, I'm just, being your instrument. So what an amazing interaction that is. Of course it's reaching to the highest platform of love of Godhead, which is the love that Srimati Radharani has for Krishna. So the interesting thing is that Lord Chaitanya gave so many instructions, but he didn't really leave anything behind of his own writings. He didn't leave much behind of his own writings. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could have written so many things. He could have expounded on so many different aspects, just like when he was a child. He was little Nimai being the topmost philosopher. So, of course, Lord Chaitanya was capable of giving us many, many things and writing down many scriptures. But for some reason, he specifically left 8 verses for us to study. And so, we're talking about the process of Harinam Sankirtan and the process of purifying ourselves in this age of Kali Yuga, but we actually have to know how we need to do these things. And so, of course, what we're talking about is the Shikshashtakam. And so, throughout the Chaitanya Charitamrita, you have different aspects of Lord Chaitanya displaying different forms of pastimes. And in the Antya Leela, he's displaying actually very, very deep Leela. He's expressing very internal moods of Srimati Radharani, and he's experiencing these things. And so the Antya Leela is composing a lot of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's outpouring of his heart to his confidential associates. And as he drew more and more within himself, he actually started to display even more appalling ecstatic symptoms that one could never even conceive of. And the interesting thing about this is all culminating, and it ends, the CC ends in the final chapter, which is the Shikshashtakam prayers. And sometimes we chant these prayers every day. It gets a little mechanical. But it's quite clear that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and of course his associates Rupa Goswami, the 6 Goswamis, Krishnadas Kaviraj especially, making this the last chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So we're very fortunate to have direct instructions by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Of course, we said he could do so many other things, but I think it's quite clear that he thought these were sufficient. So it's not about necessarily how much we're looking at, but how deep we are diving into the aspects that we're given, the teachings that we're being given. So, of course, there's the famous verse that Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj says after reciting Lord Chaitanya's instructions of the Shikshashtakam. He says that if anyone recites or hears these 8 verses of instruction by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his ecstatic love and devotion for Krishna increase day by day. So, I personally thought it would be nice to actually read these in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And not only is Lord Chaitanya giving these instructions, but he's also making commentaries on them. So we're not only giving the Shikshashtakam, but we're also giving Lord Chaitanya's commentaries and experiences, because Krishna's coming as Srimati Radharani externally. He's experiencing these moods, and so then they're beginning to express these moods through the process of Shikshashtakam. So everything is within the Shikshashtakam for our goal in spiritual life. So we can start here. If you want, I guess if someone has the capability to put it on, you're welcome to put it on. We're going to read for probably about 10 minutes. It's the CC Antya Leela, chapter 20. And we'll start at text 8. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Okay, so I'll just start and we'll just catch up because we don't have much time. So this is Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami starting to narrate Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu speaking with Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Roy. In great jubilation, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "My dear Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Roy, know from me that chanting the holy names is the most feasible means of salvation in this age of Kali. Yeah, we're on text 9 now. And if you want, you can go to we're on the next text now, text 9. Yeah. In this age of Kali, the process of worshipping Krishna is to perform sacrifice by chanting the holy name of the Lord. One who does so is certainly very intelligent, and he attains shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the name of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. That's a familiar verse from the Bhāgavatam. Simply by chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna, one can be freed from all undesirable habits. This is the means of awakening all good fortune and initiating the flow of waves of love for Krishna. So now the Shikshashtakam will actually start. And then there will be commentaries in between each verse by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Let there be all victory for the chanting of the holy name of Lord Krishna, which can cleanse the mirror of the heart and stop the miseries of the blazing fire of material existence. That chanting is the waxing moon that spreads the white lotus of good fortune for all living entities. It is the life and soul of all education. The chanting of the holy name of Krishna expands the blissful ocean of transcendental life. It gives a cooling effect to everyone and enables one to taste full nectar at every step. By performing congregational chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, one can destroy the sinful condition of material existence, purify the unclean heart, and awaken all varieties of devotional service. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is making it very clear. Everything's actually stemming from the holy name. Text 14. The result of chanting is that one awakens his love for Krishna and tastes transcendental bliss. Ultimately, one attains the association of Krishna and engages in his devotional service, as if immersing himself in a great ocean of love. Lamentation and humility awoke within Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he began reciting another of his own verses. By hearing the means of that verse, one can forget all unhappiness and lamentation. This is the second verse. My Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, in your holy name there is all good fortune for the living entity, and therefore you have many names, such as Krishna and Govinda, by which you expand yourself. You have invested all your potencies in those names, and there are no hard and fast rules for remembering them. My dear Lord, although you bestow such mercy upon the fallen conditioned souls by liberally teaching them your holy names, I am so unfortunate that I commit offenses while chanting the holy name, and therefore I do not achieve attachment for chanting. Because people vary in their desires, you have distributed various holy names by your mercy. Regardless of time or place, one who chants the holy name even while eating or sleeping attains all perfection. You have invested your full potencies in each individual holy name, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attachment for chanting your holy names. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, O Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Roy, hear from me the symptoms of how one should chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra to awaken very easily one's dormant love for Krishna. So of course we've heard that we should wear this verse around our neck. One who thinks himself lower than the grass, who is more tolerant than the tree, and who does not expect personal honor, but is always prepared to give all respect to others, can very easily chant the holy name of the Lord. These are symptoms of one who chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Although he is very exalted, he thinks himself lower than the grass on the ground, and like a tree, he tolerates everything in two ways. When a tree is cut down, it does not protest, and even when drying up, it does not ask anyone for water. The tree delivers its fruits, flowers, and whatever else it possesses to anyone and everyone. It tolerates scorching heat and torrents of rain, and yet it still gives shelters to others. So that amanina manadena, this aspect of amanitva, of humility, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving a very, very clear understanding of his standard of humility And I can at least say for myself that I'm very far from this. But of course we can aspire to attain this through the process of chanting the holy name attentively. So text 25. Although a Vaishnava is the most exalted person, he is prideless and gives all respect to everyone, knowing everyone to be the resting place of Krishna. If one chants the holy name of Lord Krishna in this manner, he will certainly awaken his dormant love for Krishna's lotus feet. As Lord Chaitanya spoke in this way, his humility increased, and he began praying to Krishna that he could discharge pure devotional service. Whenever there is a relationship of love of Godhead, its natural symptom is that the devotee does not think himself a devotee. Instead, he always thinks that he has not even a drop of love for Krishna. I always find that so amazing. Like, sometimes you're having a good day in chanting, or you're doing your service really nicely, and you're like, okay, I think like I might be a pure devotee. But then actually you realize that never arises, that feeling never arises within the heart of a pure devotee. That constant desire to grow more in loving Krishna and in serving Krishna creates such a raw form of humility, because Krishna is actually unlimited. Krishna's love is unlimited for us, and our love for Krishna can also be unlimited. So in order to do that, that humility actually gives us a deeper opportunity to dive even further into these aspects of our relationship with the Lord. Text 29. O Lord of the universe, I do not desire material wealth, materialistic followers, a beautiful wife, or fruitive activities described in flowery language. All I want, life after life, is unmotivated devotional service unto you. So that's the 4th verse. My dear Lord Krishna, I do not want material wealth from you, nor do I want followers, a beautiful wife, or the results of fruitive activities. I only pray that by your causeless mercy, you give me pure devotional service to you, life after life. In great humility, considering himself a conditioned soul of the material world, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again expressed the desire to be endowed with service to the Lord. O my Lord, O Krishna, son of Maharaj Nanda, I am your eternal servant, but because of my own fruitive acts, I have fallen into this horrible ocean of nescience. Now please be causelessly merciful to me. Consider me a particle of dust at your lotus feet. I am your eternal servant, but I forgot your lordship. Now I have fallen into the ocean of nescience and have been conditioned by the external energy. Be causelessly merciful to me by giving me a place with the particles of dust at your lotus feet, so that I may engage in the service of your lordship as your eternal servant. Natural humility and eagerness then awoke in Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He prayed to Krishna to be able to chant the Mahamantra in ecstatic love. O my dear Lord, when will my eyes be beautified by filling with tears that constantly glide down as I chant your holy name? When will my voice falter and all the hairs of my body stand erect in transcendental happiness as I chant your holy name? Without love of Godhead, my life is useless. Therefore I pray that you accept me as your servant and give me the salary of ecstatic love of God. Separation from Krishna awoke various mellows of distress, lamentation, humility. Thus Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke like a crazy man. My Lord Govinda, because of separation from you, I consider even a moment a great millennium. Tears flow from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I see the entire world as void. In my agitation, a day never ends, for every moment seems like a millennium. Pouring incessant tears, my eyes are like clouds in the rainy season. The 3 worlds have become void because of separation from Govinda. I feel as if I were burning alive in a slow fire. Lord Krishna has become indifferent to me just to test my love, and my friends say, better to disregard him. While Srimati Radharani was thinking in this way, the characteristics of natural love became manifest of her pure heart. The ecstatic symptoms of envy, great eagerness, humility, zeal, and supplication all became manifest at once. Fun thing to think about. In that mood, the mind of Srimati Radharani was agitated, and therefore she spoke a verse of advanced devotion to her gopi friends. In the same spirit of ecstasy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recited that verse,
and as soon as he did so, he felt like Srimati Radharani. Let Krishna tightly embrace this maidservant who has fallen at his lotus feet, or let him trample me or break my heart by never being visible to me. He is a debauchee, after all, and can do whatever he likes. But still he alone, and no one else, is the worshipable Lord of my heart. I am a maidservant at the lotus feet of Krishna. He is the embodiment of transcendental happiness and mellows. If he likes, he can tightly embrace me and make me feel oneness with him, or by not giving me his audience, he may corrode my mind and body. Nevertheless, it is he who is the Lord of my life. My dear friend, just hear the decision of my mind. Krishna is the Lord of my life in all conditions, whether he shows me affection or kills me by giving me unhappiness. Sometimes Krishna gives up the company of other gopis and becomes controlled, mind and body, by me. Thus he manifests my good fortune and gives others distress by performing his loving affairs with me. Or since after all, he is a very cunning, obstinate debauchee with a propensity to cheat, he takes the company of other women. He then indulges in loving affairs with them in front of me to give distress to my mind. Nevertheless, he is still the Lord of my life. I do not mind my personal distress. I only wish for the happiness of Krishna, for his happiness is the goal of my life. However, if he feels great happiness in giving me distress, that distress is the best of my happiness. If Krishna, attracted by the beauty of some other woman, wants to enjoy with her, but is unhappy because he cannot get her, I fall down at her feet, catch her hand, and bring her to Krishna to engage her for his happiness. When a beloved gopi shows symptoms of anger toward Krishna, Krishna is very satisfied. Indeed, he is extremely pleased when chastised by such a gopi. She shows her pride suitably, and Krishna enjoys that attitude. Then she gives up her pride with a little endeavor. Why does a woman continue to live who knows that Krishna's heart is unhappy, but who still shows her deep anger toward him? She is interested in her own happiness. I condemn such a woman to be struck on the head with a thunderbolt, for we simply want the happiness of Krishna. If a gopi envious of me satisfies Krishna and Krishna desires her, I shall not hesitate to go to her house and become her maid servant, for then my happiness will be awakened. The wife of a Brahmana suffering from leprosy manifested herself as the topmost of all chaste women by serving a prostitute to satisfy her husband. She thus stopped the movement of the sun, brought her dead husband back to life, and satisfied the three principal demigods. Krishna is my life and soul. Krishna is the treasure of my life. Indeed, Krishna is the very life of my life. I therefore keep him always in my heart and try to please him by rendering service. That is my constant meditation. My happiness is in the service of Krishna, and Krishna's happiness is in union with me. For this reason, I give my body in charity to the lotus feet of Krishna, who accepts me as his loved one and calls me his most beloved. It is then that I consider myself his maidservant. Service to my lover is the home of happiness, and is more sweet than direct union with him. The goddess of fortune is evidence of this. For although she constantly lives on the heart of Narayan, she wants to render service to his lotus feet. She therefore considers herself a maid-servant and serves him constantly. These statements by Srimati Radharani show the symptoms of pure love for Krishna, tasted by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In that ecstatic love, his mind was unsteady. Transformations of transcendental love spread throughout his entire body, and he could not sustain his body and mind. The pure devotional service in Vrindavan is like the golden particles in the river Jambu. In Vrindavan, there is not a trace of personal sense gratification. It is to advertise such pure love in this material world that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has written the previous verse and explained its meaning. Thus overwhelmed by ecstatic love, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke like a madman and recited suitable verses. The Lord had formerly composed these 8 verses to teach people in general. Now he personally tasted the meaning of the verses, which are called the Shikshastra. If anyone recites or hears these 8 verses of instruction by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his ecstatic love and devotion for Krishna increase day by day. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. So, I just wanted to touch a little bit more on how the Shikshashtakam is actually giving us everything here. Our main understanding in the basis of the practice of devotional service is three main things of bhakti. So we have sadhana bhakti, there's bhava bhakti, and there's prema bhakti. So sadhana bhakti is like a practice. So just like doctors are in a practice, they don't claim that they're perfect yet, but they're aspiring for that perfection. And through this practice of sadhana bhakti, eventually, if one actually remains fixed on the path, and of course, maintaining hope, because this Shikshashtakam is, it's progressing in a quite intense way. And if we don't have hope that we can achieve that one day, then we're not necessarily actually following the instructions of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through these verses. So we have to maintain hope. Although we're in this practice, it can be achieved. And it's been displayed by our acharyas that it can be achieved. So then, reaching to the platform of bhava bhakti, you're actually developing ecstatic symptoms. So this is kind of shown in the... just a second. I think it's the first or the last 7, or I guess 6 and 7 verses, the 6th and 7th verses, the mood of bhava is being shown. Now the first 5 verses deals more with sadhana bhakti, like the aspect of, teaching the congregational chanting. You have how, actually the aspect of awakening one's lack of taste, being somewhat transparent. And then the procedure of chanting, how we should chant. How to rid oneself of, different attachments of the material world, developing a deeper desire to have a taste for the holy names, wanting that service. And then 5, of course, is more of the summary, summum bonum of Sambandha, which is the identity of the soul and Krishna's identity and the relationship between the two. So then that's developing into bhava, when Lord Chaitanya is extremely lamenting, when will tears be flowing from my eyes? When will these ecstatic symptoms be manifest? And he's giving us this to us as a way to show that this is the process of our practice. And so we have to aspire to actually come to this point. And of course, if we're not lamenting, like myself, I'm not even lamenting that I'm not lamenting. So we can keep trying to cry that we're not crying, until eventually we start getting a desire to actually develop a taste for the holy names. And especially the 7th and 8th verses deal with prema, which is the fully manifested aspect of bhava. And so Lord Chaitanya is displaying these things simply in 8 verses. The whole 9 yards of everything we're learning in our process can be understood in these 8 verses. So it's clear he knew that this was enough. And of course, these also relate to aspects of Sambandha and Abhideya and Prayojana. So the aspect of Sambandha would be like the first 5 verses we were talking about in sadhana bhakti. And then the 6 through 8 verses is like Prayojana, the goal. What are we attaining for? We're striving for prema bhakti. And of course, it's not like we're striving for prema bhakti and then everything like stops there. Like, no, this is actually the beginning. This is what we're going for, and then it takes off from there. And of course, then Abhideya, which is the in-between. So Sambandha is like establishing a personal relationship, or just understanding who you are, who Krishna is, and what our relationship with Krishna is. And then Abhideya is like the means by how to develop that relationship. And then Prayojana is the goal, to actually have that mood of the relationship fully manifested. So, just an incredible display in this Chaitanya Charitamrita, and we're so fortunate to be in the association of so many devotees that are actually practicing these things every day. Especially to be in the fortune of having Ramaroy Prabhu's association and so many other devotees who have been so committed to chanting the holy name and to encouraging others to chant the holy name, because this is actually the process. Everything is a means that we're doing in service to actually fulfill this taste for the holy name. So I wanted to touch, this is the month of Kartik. I also wanted to touch a little bit about just the mood that we can approach Kartik in, especially now, the desire to chant more, to do more service. to do different sorts of tapasya or practices that we can actually develop a deeper taste. So I think it was Ram Roper who just sent this quote in this morning, and I thought it was really nice. Srila Prabhupada's writing a letter to Jayapataka Maharaj, and he's saying, "You have asked about the specialness of the month of Kartik, and the answer is that a special inducement for persons who are not in Krishna consciousness to perform some devotional service. For persons who are doing nothing in Krishna consciousness, it is an indirect inducement to take to devotional service in earnest seriousness. Every moment is Kartik. In this connection, there is a good example that sometimes a store gives a special concession to attract new customers. But for those who are already customers, there is no need of a special sale. They will purchase at any cost if they know the import and value of the goods. Similarly, those who are pure devotees do not aspire for any concession, and out of spontaneous love, try to engage themselves in devotional service 24 hours each day, 365 days every year, without any stoppage." So this is important because we're performing certain things to do more in Kartik, like we're going out on Harinam more, we're chanting more, maybe devotees are eating less. And these things are not just meant to be done just in this month. It's actually a gradual process to which we can actually develop a deeper taste to fully start taking upon these practices. And one last thing, I was reading from different quotes from the Skanda Purana, and I was thinking about yesterday, there were so many people coming and offering lamps to Radha Damodar. And I wanted to read some of these quotes about what happens when one offers a lamp during Kartik. "When one offers a lamp during the month of Kartik, his sins of many thousands and millions of births perish in half an eye blink. Even if there is no mantras, no pious deeds, no purity, everything becomes perfect when a person offers a lamp during the month of Kartik. A person who, during the month of Kartik, offers a lamp to Lord Keshava has already performed all yagyas and bathing in all the holy rivers." That's amazing. "The ancestors say, when someone in our family pleases Lord Keshava by offering him a lamp during the month of Kartik, then by the mercy of the Lord who holds the Sudarshan Chakra in his hand, we will all attain liberation. To one who either at home or in a temple offers a lamp during the month of Kartik, Lord Vasudeva gives a great result. A person who offers a lamp to Lord Krishna during the month of Damodar becomes very glorious and fortunate. No sins exist anywhere in the three worlds that will not be purified by offering a lamp to Lord Keshava during Kartik. A person who offers a lamp to Lord Damodar during Kartik attains the eternal spiritual world where there is no suffering." So we were reflecting on this, how so many people were actually sincere in offering these lamps yesterday. It wasn't just like a mindless thing. Mother Divyangi or different devotees, whoever was there, would approach them, make a wish or say something, offer it to God. And these people are like so sincere. I was inspired myself, I'm walking up here and I'm just doing the mechanical thing, just like waving the light in front of the Lord. But these people are actually manifesting such desires from their hearts. Even if it's not totally a pure desire, they're still getting so much benefit. So, that's about all I had to share here. Of course, I really don't have any realization of these things. I pray that one day I can. But as it said, one should always repeat the words of the Guru and repeat the words of Shastra. So that's what I tried doing, to just keep it based on scripture so that we can be inspired and I can be inspired to develop an attraction for chanting attentively. So thank you very much for your time. If anyone, Ramaripu, maybe you'd like to add a comment. If anyone can grab a microphone for him.
only description or hint of the Lord's disappearance. Because it was just painful. And the Shishastakam, from Shraddha to Prema, and also the eightfold eternal pastimes of Shishivada over all to be understood and contained within the Shishastakam. Bhaktivinoda Thakur in particular has given one exalted literature called Bhajan Rahasya, which explains all these things in exalted detail. So we just keep in mind happiness to my lover is the abode of all happiness. Service to my lover, excuse me. So that is the newly pure devotion. Whatever has to be done, wherever, whenever, without any personal consideration for oneself, even to the extent that it means that one cannot live in the holy Dham, so to speak, and have to live in a place like New York City to get the job done. Srila Prabhupada did. He lived here for 15 months. Actually, this is the 58th anniversary of Prabhupada taking up residence in New York City at the end of October in 1965. And he remained here. The only place that he went was maybe up to Monroe, New York, to the Ananda Ashram, where he could have taken a ride on the Staten Island ferry a year later with Greg Sharp, later to become Gargoyle. But he was here non-stop for 15 months to establish the Krishna consciousness. So that is our line, and because Srila Prabhupada is on this topmost platform, by rendering service to the pure devotee, great service is done. One gains affinity for the message of Godhead, what displayed in Kripa City by the mercy of such a pure devotee. A disciple means that the guru is going to instruct the disciple with everything that he knows, and the disciple should also come onto that platform. Not that he becomes equal to the guru. The guru is always superior. I was hearing a memory, some devotees came to Srila Prabhupada and they were asking very challenging questions. And I'm not going to get into the details, but it was clear that they were trusting more in their so-called mundane intelligence to the point of doubting and challenging Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, "You are all too advanced. You don't need a spiritual master. As for myself, I need a spiritual master. So therefore, I bless you to enjoy the material world to the fullest extent of your desire." So, Lord Chaitanya has created a disciplic succession of very exalted pure devotees coming directly from himself, headed by Sri Damodar Goswami. So we should have that faith in the Guru, and his blessings is the sum and substance of spiritual life. And Srila Prabhupada's empowerment to spread pure devotional service all over this planet, and perhaps we can't understand, but all over this universe, is complete faith that by doing our level best, like it said there, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, a sail to bring us in at a certain time of the year to induce us, that all perfection will be there and more.
Right. Okay. Divyangi, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I was just thinking about these lamps, what you were saying, how some people, they look very serious about making these prayers and wishes. Yesterday this man, he came with his friend, and one of them, he offered a candle, but another one, I I saw he wanted it, but he's like, oh no. They kind of freak out because of the picture or something. But then we were packing up already, and then he came out very determined, and he said, okay, I'm ready now. And then I
Wow.
had to grab the picture and do the mobile offering.
Wow.
Yeah, but he did actually offer it, and he was so like proud of himself. And I was thinking, it's at least by the end of Harinam he got ready. So it was very inspiring.
Wow, that's amazing. Jai shows the power of the holy name. Jai. Okay, our time's up. I'm sorry I went a little over time. Thank you for being attentive in the class so that I could actually say something that's proper. Please forgive me for any offenses I've created or anything I've said that goes against our Siddhanta. Granta Śrimad Bhāgavatam ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasinubhyeva.